FileHeil Drumpf 32105541630.jpg Wikimedia Commons 1024A 68370K jpgImage by commons.wikimedia.org Permission details DM Con apparent trend is growing among conservatives who want credit for criticizing Donald Trump's obvious lack of fitness for office, while still maintaining their right-wing credentials by attack liberals with false equivalencies. First, it was John Danforth, in his appearance on The Last Word with Lawrence O'Donnell. Now, MSNBC has continued its inexplicable tolerance for such insults, by allowing George F. Will to repeat Danforth's distortion that somehow, the racist white supremacy that Donald Trump continues to defend, is analogous to the identity politics of the left on Ari Melber's new show The Beat. As I pointed out in a previous soap tier, this false equivalence confuses cause and effect. Identity politics arises from similar experiences, and is strengthened by prejudice, discrimination, and suffering. Given that, it is particularly heinous and hurtful to equate the consciousness-raising that leads to direct action against the kind of hate demonstrated by the violent demonstrators in Charlottesville, with that very hate. The whole notion that identity politics is the unique purview of those who are seen as having identities, is a manifestation of the hidden bias Eugene Robinson admirably uncovered during the confirmation process of Justice Sonia Sotomayor. The assumption of many of the senators questioning her, or commenting on her confirmation, is that her very identity as a Latina made her point of view automatically suspect. That her experiences would color her judgments in a way that doesn't exist for white men. The underlying schema is that the generic form of humanity is what we are used to seeing among the powerful. Anyone from another background has a point of view, in a way that is somehow lacking in those in the majority. Of course, power and privilege are invisible to those who hold it, inescapable for those who don't. As Robinson put it, Republicans' outrage, both real and feigned, at Sotomayor's musings about how her identity as a wise Latina might affect her judicial decisions is based on a flawed assumption that whiteness and maleness are not themselves facets of a distinct identity. Being white and male is seen instead as a neutral condition, the natural order of things. Any identity, black, brown, female, gay, whatever, has to be judged against this supposedly objective standard. The shared experiences that spawn the identity politics on the left are a history of oppression, discrimination, and exclusion from the very definition of humanity. In the case of women whose lives and health depend on reproductive health care, as well as people of color who are killed with impunity by law enforcement, the fight is often one of life and death. The goal is to be seen as human. To the contrary, the goal of the hate-mongers that Trump refers to as very fine people is at the very least, the continuation of privilege of their perspective being seen as objective, neutral one. At its worst, it is a call for the annihilation of all others. There is no equivalence between reproductive rights or Black Lives Matter protests, and the calls for blood and soil and Jews will not replace us. What I can't understand is why both Lawrence O'Donnell and Ari Melber are allowing this lie to go unanswered. As with O'Donnell, I have tremendous respect for Ari Melber. I was excited for his new show, as I was with the recent continuation of Lawrence's contract. As liberals, we look to MSNBC, especially as prime time grows near, to stand for the truism that facts have a liberal bias. If they're desperate for conservatives' voices, I suggest they follow the example of Rachel Maddow. She's been known to practically beg Republicans on air to appear on her show. But she doesn't allow them to get away with false equivalence when they get there. http://www.amazon.com amifreef. D. ebo04q00do4 refnit_d. Amy Fried is the author of Escaping Dick Cheney's Stomach. She received her Ph.D. in organizational behavior, and has been an advocate for church-state separation and other civil liberties issues. She writes on women's issues, media, veganism more. The views expressed in this article are the sole responsibility of the author and do not necessarily reflect those of this website or its editors.